all of my loved ones. How are you doing? This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to today's show. We have another episode of From My Heart to Yours. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you guys are doing great on this Sunday. I wanted to come in with another weekly episode of the From My Heart to Yours. And if you're new here, this channel is all about trauma healing, and trauma healing comes in various forms. And today, that trauma healing we're going to focus in on is deceit. When you have people in your life that deceive you in one way or the other, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, I'm also talking about friends, relatives, people who come in your life with the intent to bring you harm financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but we're going to get into those things. So, welcome. If you're new, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, today's topic is in the healing series about deceit, right? Have you been deceived by people? First of all, before getting into this topic, we really have to discuss what really is deceit, okay? So, deceit means to intentionally state something that you know is, no, that's lying. I'm going up ahead of myself. Um, Deceit is the act or practice of deceiving, okay? Concealing or distortion of the truth for the purpose of misleading, fraud, cheating. So it can go into many different areas. And why this is a subject to talk about trauma healing from: when people deceive us, defraud us, cheat on us, it gives us, it kind of closes off our heart, because it's like the saying, fool me once, shame on them. Fool me twice, it's shame on you. So the thing about deceit is, hi Sirius, how are you doing? Happy Sunday, and happy Sunday to all the loved ones. The thing about deceit, everybody, is that their intent, sometimes when people do something in life, it's because of miscommunication, but it was not with the intent to bring you emotional, financial, spiritual, physical harm. But some people, they go into things knowing that they're not interested in keeping a romantic relationship with you, or they knew that they were not good, this is not going to be a good business or relationship, but they still continue to do it anyways, right? Hey Metro, hi Turkey Lover, how are you doing? But they know that already. Do you know people like that? Have you ever noticed any people like that in your life? I most definitely have had people in my life that come into my life to deceive me, to bring me harm, to try to bring me down, break me down. So, hi Maya, or Mara. Sorry, I mispronounced your name. Today we're going to get into talking about deceit and why it's important for us to trauma heal from deceit. Why is it important to trauma heal? Because if you don't heal, you're going to keep allowing people to do things to you, or you're going to go into this life with your heart closed off, okay? Hi, Lusa. How are you doing? Welcome in. You're going to go into this life with your heart closed off. And I don't think that that's a good thing. I want better for you. Just like one day I said, you know what? I'm tired of being upset. I'm tired of being angry. And we carry our pain. We carry our discomfort, our sadness, our brokenness with us in every relationship that we encounter, whether it be romantic, whether it's with relatives or friends. We carry the pain, the disappointment, the trauma along with us. So that's why it's important for us to have these conversations, and this topic from my heart to yours. I know the times when I had friends or frenemies, really, or relatives, or even a romantic relationship when they purposely deceived you, for whatever reason, to get money from you, to use you, to play mind games, whatever the reason and the purpose is. I just wanted to have us have this conversation because most people don't talk about when you get deceived, when people run over your heart, when people take advantage of you. And we should be having these conversations because we're adults. We're not little kids, and it's time for us to talk about this. Okay? So once we expose the deceit, and we kind of will not trust again. And that's not a good thing. Hi, Renee. How are you doing? Yeah, welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here. How was your Sunday and how was your weekend? So let's go into asking this part. Is deceit the same as lying? That's a question that I have for all of you guys. Is deceit the same as lying? And the answer is no. And I'll tell you why. Because lying is a specific type of deceit, which can broaden the act of intentionally misleading someone. Lying involves making a false statement, whereas deceit can also happen through truths told misleading or omissions or actions. Deceit, the real goal is to trick, it's to fool, it's to play mind games. Most of the time, people who try to deceive you are usually people who have narcissistic personalities. Do you know people who are narcissists? People who their intent is every kind of way that they can rip you off, every way that they can take advantage of you, any way that they can find a way to get you down and break you down, they will. Okay? And why I wanted to have this conversation is I remember a few times in my life where I had people in my life come around and deceive me. I just absorbed it. I ignored it. I pushed it all to the side and, just act like everything was okay. And I have to tell you guys that when people do something wrong to us, like deceiving us, they know what they're doing. That's their intention, is to deceive us, to break us. You know why? Because people will think that you have a low opinion of yourself, that you have no self esteem. You have to take whatever it is that they want to give you. See, and this conversation today, when we also talk about trauma healing, is also for us to understand that we don't need toxic people in our life. We don't need narcissists, control freaks, people who have mental illness that really need medication. They need to get some therapy. And I'm not saying that to throw shots at anybody, but it's the truth. There are a lot of people who really do need a lot of help. They need to work on themselves and they need to grow up. Now, it's a little bit more difficult when the ones that deceive you are your relatives. Let's start there with those deceitful people. As a relative, and you love them, right? You love your relatives. You want the best for them. Hi, Miss Betty. How are you doing? You love your relatives. You want the best for them. But one thing when it comes to deceit, if you know that these people are always telling you, misrepresentations, right? And those sort of things, that we have to not lie to ourselves, okay? Um, okay, okay. Sirius handled it. Um, why I wanted to talk about this is because I don't want for us to keep thinking that we have to take it. I put up with that so many years in my life. Um, Putting up with relatives just always just not telling you, the full truth, or always having something to say that is, partial truth, but it's not the whole truth. And the thing about that is, if you cannot fully trust people in your life with the things that they say, or if they say they're going to do something or be somewhere, whatever it is, if you can't trust people, you will not be able to trust other people. It gives you a complex. Like, basically, if it's your spouse, significant other, if it's a friend, if it's whoever they are, anybody else who shows up in your life, you're going to put up a stop sign. Like, oh, the last person did this to me. Now, I'm not saying for us to not have our eyes wide open, to not go into this life with rose colored glasses, to really tap into discernment and know our worth and love ourselves, because we are all God's children and we need to use that discernment. We need to tap into that discernment. And that's something that I know when I was younger, when it came to friends, or when it came to relatives, or when it came to a romantic relationship, I believe that I was so desperate, so thirsty for other people's love, that I would just take whatever people would give me. People will breadcrumb you, just give you just a little morsel, a little drop, a little taste, when you know that they could give more, but they're not willing to, because they don't want to, because they actually don't care about you. Now, I want to pause on that for a moment, loved ones. If you have people in your life and they are very comfortable deceiving you, and we did talk about that, the reason why people deceive you is because it's their intention to mislead you. That's their intention. They're only in your life to intentionally deceive you, financially, emotionally, spiritually, or break your spirit. And I feel like that's so evil. And there are a lot of evil people. And don't get me wrong, there are some good people out there, but we have to keep our eyes, our ears, and also our spirit open to these toxic people. Because if we don't, we will keep getting taken advantage of. And that's not what I want for you. And that's not what I want for me. I have been there and I have done that for so many years, feeling that I have to take it. And I would just keep letting my relatives run over me, just like a doormat, just run over me, take advantage of me. Or if you're dating somebody and they do things, and the red flags are going off, and you're like, they said this and now they're saying that, and it may not be a full out lie, there may be some truth, but the thing is that they are deceiving you. The question is, why do we keep allowing this? And this is the part of the trauma healing that I want for us to mend in talking about people who are deceitful. For us to, when we recognize the negativity, when we recognize the deceit, when we know what we heard, when we know what we've seen, when we know that someone is not healing for us, does not take care and concern of our heart, of our opinions, is not helping us to achieve personal growth. Actually, the deceitful people, all they do is break you down. They break down your self-esteem. They most likely take advantage of you financially. They don't make time or room for you. They don't support you in any aspect. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because we need to get into the space of accepting what it is that we see. The common saying is from Maya Angelou, and her saying was, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, and believe them what time? The first time. The first time a person is deceiving you. The first time when something doesn't feel right. The first time when something, you had something planned and then they no showed, they ghosted you. Whatever forms of disrespect that person did to deceive you, it's us getting into that space of saying, I accept who they are. I accept what I see. I accept what I feel. Now, I know that that's easier said than done because maybe, like myself, for many years, you have just put up with, toxic relatives. You have just put up with toxic people in dating. You've put up with toxic people as friends. You've had toxic workplace relationships. People just don't treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. But the thing about it is that people can do what they want to do, but then you have to learn to see it for what it is, their negativity, the deceit, the lying, the manipulation, the control, the all of it, and accept people when they show you who they are. Now, I wish that many years ago I had people in my life that could tell me that if somebody is doing you wrong, that's not going to change. All of those people who just apologize because they get caught, they apologize that you just don't want to take it anymore. Have you guys ever been a victim of that? I know for sure I have. Um, in a romantic relationship, like making excuses when you keep asking for them to do this, and this, just a normal thing. Treating you with respect, treating you with courtesy and consideration. And the same thing applies in all relationships. If people don't know how to show up in your life, honestly, they don't know how to show up caring for your heart, making time for you, or if all they want to do is just constantly always take from you and never give to you, we have to ask ourselves, why do I keep taking that? That is a question that I know I had to ask myself. Why do I keep taking this from a relative? Why do I keep taking this in dating? Why do I keep taking this in the workplace? In all relationships, we can heal what we allow. And that was something for me that was a new thing in life for me to say, I deserve better. I don't deserve to be run over. I don't deserve to be disrespected. I deserve for people to treat me better because I treat me better. And it's a learning experience, everybody. We have to learn how to treat ourselves better. We have to learn, like, people's behaviors when they're toxic, when people are a manipulator, a narcissist, and you see those narcissistic behaviors. When you see somebody lies to you, backstabs you, takes advantage of you, what is important for us to know that we don't have to just keep taking it. It's like, you know, turn the other cheek, and that is also a part of this conversation too. When I say acceptance, I don't mean accept the poor behavior from other people, but accepting who the person is showing you that they are. That's so important in toxic relationships. When people show you who they are, they show you that they're a narcissist. They show you that they don't care about you. They show you that they don't love you. They show you that they're no good for you, but you keep allowing them to stay in your life. You keep allowing them to keep saying they're sorry. The question is yeah, people can be sorry that they don't do the right thing, but how many times are you going to keep letting people run over your heart? How many times are you going to let people keep lying to you about borrowing money and repaying? How long are you going to let people that you know are not good for you in a romantic relationship, but you continue to date them for years and years, and you know that the relationship is going nowhere? You know that that's not a good person for you. You know that that person's energy isn't right. Now, I have to say that when I learned how to love myself and get into that healing of self love, of empowering my mind and knowing that I deserve better and I don't have to take toxicity, especially, hi, Black Timmy, how are you doing? I didn't have to take the toxicity from my relatives. I don't have to take the toxicity from quote unquote friends who really aren't your friends, they're really your enemies. You just have to take a deep breath and see things for what it is. They're toxic, they're not good for you. So accept that. And then this is the healing part. You got to cut off and block all of those individuals that are not pouring into you. Now, I have to say that it was so hard for me in my life to get to that stage of saying that I don't have to keep taking toxicity. Yeah, I don't have to keep waiting for people to show up for me. Especially those individuals that ghost you. You don't hear from them all year. And I know many of you, especially during this time of the year, people you haven't heard from all year, and now they want to be asking, "How are you doing?" and all of those things. Like, those people do not care about you. They are only checking on you because they want something. They want some money from you. They want your time or whatever, or they want to continue to put you in that trap or cycle of getting you to believe that they care about you until the next year, and they do the same thing again. Hey, let's get together. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. No. We are not going to keep accepting toxicity. We're not going to keep letting people manipulate us and hurt us, bring pain into our life. That is the thing that I wanted to say. Thank you so much, Sirius, for the gift. I really appreciate it. That is the thing that I wanted to say to all of you, that we don't have to keep letting people run over us, okay? We don't have to let people keep treating us like we're garbage, okay? Metro says, only a few relatives I associate with. Some of them, they change. Well, that's good, Metro. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much, Metro. I appreciate the compliment. Hi, Johannes. How are you doing? Welcome in. Yes, you can't trust those that continue to lie. Yes, you can't. Hey, Real Odds and Evens, how are you doing? Hi, James. How are you doing? Absolutely. And you as well. Yes, welcome in, Real Odds and Evens. How are you doing this evening? Yes, I appreciate you all being here. Real Odds and Evens says, only apologizing to get benefits, okay? And your time, but truly don't have repentance. Yeah, that's one of the things, is that they keep being in that cycle of telling you they're sorry, but really they're only sorry that you have higher standards, or they're only sorry that they get caught in their lies, caught in their cheating, caught in their disrespect, because some people just aren't good for us. Let me just put those cards out on the table, loved ones. Some people just are not good for us. They're not healing to our soul. They're not healing to our spirit. That relative, that person that you're dating, that friend, that coworker, these toxic people that keep deceiving you over and over again, and because you keep falling for it, that's why you keep getting hurt. Trust and believe when you say no and you cut those people off and you accept, okay, I see you do this, this, and this, or you play me, or you've made promises that you can't keep, won't keep, don't want to keep. So I'm going to set you free. Some people, you need to set them free so that you can be your best self. Okay. Thank you so much, Sirius. I really appreciate it. Real Odds says narcissists aren't poor broken souls that we keep accepting and hoping they get better. Nope, they are cold, calculated, and manipulative. Right, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about today, that deceit, that manipulation. Those people that they know exactly what they are doing. They're playing a game, they're playing a role. And we know those that walk around and they wear the mask. They're very good at what they do. They know how to make you feel guilty. They know how to say the kind words. They know how to trap you. They know how to bait you to get you to do something for them, but they're not there for you. Their only objective is for whatever it is that they want to get fulfilled, right? Metro says, and the very thing I despise is very disrespectful in front of children. No one doesn't like to see that either. No. Thank you so much, Sirius, for the heart. I really appreciate it. And real odds. Okay. Hi, Arfana. How are you doing? Yes, good and vibing. Well, you're appreciated here. If they continue to ask too many favors, that's a problem. And some of them don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. And that is one of the reasons why we have to heal that inside of ourselves. You know, I remember in therapy, I remember the day my therapist said to me that it's not my responsibility to grow people up. It's not my responsibility to make anybody happy. It's not my responsibility to, take on other people's problems that they have made. They have to take ownership of their life and start doing the right things. It's not my responsibility. Hi, Sean Smith. How are you doing? Welcome in. Yes, 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 y'all. Real Odd says, let's see. So let me get into the next point that I have. I only have one more point, and then we're going to get out of here. You know, I only keep it really short on Sundays. So let me talk about the key difference. Okay, when we talk about deceit or deception, by definition, it's the broader act of causing someone to believe something untrue using any method. So, by all means necessary, they'll do whatever it takes in order to get you deceived. That could include lying. A lie told with the intent of deceit to deceive is deceitful, and then it goes beyond lying. The omissions, right? Leaving certain key details out of things. That is being deceitful, and that's what we don't need. Okay. Hi, TJ. How are you? So that's something that is important. And then it's also by their actions, cheating, backstabbing you. Okay. Not being a good person, not being good to you, not being kind to you. Hi, Briggs. How are you doing? Just some people just don't want to be good to us. Hi, John. How are you doing? Welcome in. Some people don't want to be good to us, and that's something that it took me a while to get to that space in my life that I wanted better for myself. So now that I'm in this space, hi Mayhem, how are you? Now that I'm in this space, this healed space, this happy space, I wanted to say to every single one of you to make sure that you show up for yourself. Okay? Make sure that you love yourself. And that's not anybody else's job. That's not anybody else's responsibility, but we got to take that seriously. So, one thing that I know I personally had to do is stop depending on other people to love me. I had to stop waiting for people to love me, and I had to love myself. So, to anybody who is listening to this, anybody in the sound of my voice listening, I wanted to say to you, start thinking of some ways that you can pour some love into yourself. And me coming from that space, I know what that feels like. A romantic relationship, a friend, parents, siblings, a job. Nobody can give you love like you can give to yourself. Those things are nice. Those things, it would be wonderful if it happens, but we shouldn't sacrifice our mental health. You shouldn't sacrifice your peace of mind. But what we are going to do is we're going to accept who people are when they show you who they are. When people show you who they are, believe them. When? Believe them the first time, like Maya Angelou says. Okay? One more point, and we're going to get out of here. I just be feeling like I need to have a significant other. Um, well, it will get better, Sean. You know, sometimes in the beginning stage after a breakup, it can be very difficult, and we're going to talk about that. You know, singleness and all of the things, all single things. I always say that it's better to be single than to be in a toxic relationship. So we'll save that for another day. But I'm sorry that you feel that way. Start doing some things for yourself, Sean. I would recommend that, because we got to work on ourselves, our happiness, before we can draw in the right person into our lives. Okay. So here is my last point, everybody. The key difference is that lying is being verbally dishonest. Deceit is the successful trickery, okay, of misleading another, which can involve verbal lies, omissions, and actions. So, what is the most important thing is for us to know that we deserve better. You know, I say that to you guys. I say that to you, you, and you, to all of my loved ones. You know, we're not trash. We're not meant to be walked over. We're not meant to be taken advantage of. But you first have to know that about yourself. You have to be your own best friend. And if it was not for therapy, if it was not for my faith, if it was not having courage in my life to say, I'm going to have to back away from these deceitful people. I have to, you know? And some people in my life would think that I hate them, and I don't. Sean says such wonderful information. Thank you, Sean. So much people in my life feel like I hate them, and I don't. I don't hate anybody. The thing is that I have standards. I respect myself. And if people don't know how to respect me, and I'll give that to my loved ones here too, that if people don't know how to respect you, they don't deserve to have a space in your life. Okay? In your life. The thing is, we have choices. You know, that's an empowerment that I want to drop those seeds of empowerment for your mindset. Many times because being thirsty, okay, being thirsty, or trying to, oh, I have to have somebody, so that you settle and you allow, and you let people run over you and take advantage of you. When no, that's not a good romantic relationship or a friendship or your relatives or workplace. If people don't know how to treat you right, they got to go. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, I learned the hard way. I had people in my life that I love them very dearly, but at the same time, I don't love them more than I love me. And that was a lesson. That was the acceptance that I had to learn. I had to learn to accept that they're never going to show up for me. They're never going to be supportive. They're always going to be doing some scheming things. Okay? Just some people, that's just the way that they are. And there's nothing that we can do about it. But identify it, block them, leave them alone, and go about our way, because we can't get to healing in our life, peace and joy, if we don't have the right mindset. we can't we can't expect for people to give us what we don't possess first. See, and that's what I had backwards. I was always waiting for friends and family and a romantic relationship and everybody in my life to give me my full summation of love, when I had to work on being my own friend. I had to work on my own self respect and self esteem and my faith and setting standards, because that's what a lot of people don't do. People need to have boundaries, to set standards. There's rules to be in my life. And if you do this, this, and this, you're out of here. And it doesn't mean you're harsh. It doesn't mean you hate people. It means that you're not going to play games with me. And don't let them play games with you. Okay? Hi, Wizard. How are you doing? I hope you feel better. Sean says, crazy work. Yeah, right, Metro. Right. Serious. So I appreciate all of you guys for being here and supporting this episode of From My Heart to Yours. Well, I hope you feel better, Wizard, for real. I just want to say, sending you positivity, peace, and blessings, nothing but elevation and personal growth. This channel is all about trauma healing and not allowing the toxicity. So, those people, the ones that lie to you, the ones that deceive you, the ones that backstab you, the ones that don't show up for you, the ones that don't care about you, the ones that always make excuses. Okay? Do you know them? You got to cut those people off. You got to block them. They will keep coming back and coming back and coming back and taking advantage of you and keep breaking your heart. Right? Right, Wizard, we are definitely praying for you. Um, yes. Yeah, you have to protect your peace and your happiness. Let's see. I missed the comment from Sirius. I learned the hard way as well. The alarm sounded and I had to give them the door. I'm no longer accepting being a doormat and the gatekeeper for people that aren't reciprocating. Exactly. If people don't know how to give back, if you're always the one giving, that's not going to work in any relationship. And that is the part of trauma healing. And that's why I love to do this channel. There's so much that we can do to heal if we put in the work, if we stop letting people take advantage of us, if we stop letting people disrespect us. Don't allow it. It doesn't matter where it is. It's even on social media. We have to respect ourselves, what we put out there, and also how we treat other people. And the people that don't know how to treat us right, they're gone. Delete, block, whatever you have to do. Leave them alone, walk away, all of those things. Why? Because we love ourselves, because we know our worth, and because we don't have to take it. You don't have to take it either, okay? Yes. Metro says exactly, Marlene. If they can't respect boundaries and there is no trust, they are out of the picture. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I just wanted to say to everybody, yes, we pretty much learned the hard way to realize everything, Marlene. I can definitely relate. Yes, so many of us have learned the hard way, but the thing about it is we can heal. We can heal that. Okay. I allowed this, and this. And the next From My Heart to Yours episode, we're going to be talking about a trust. Okay. I think that's a very important topic. Next week, Sunday, around the same time, we're going to be talking about trust. I appreciate every single one of you loved ones. Remember, in order to heal from your past, from what this person did from your childhood, any inner child trauma, if you whatever you've been through, whatever people who have hurt you, just know you don't have to take it. I deserve better. But you have to first start treating yourself better before other people will treat you better as well. See, We train people how to treat us. And if you don't treat yourself well, other people won't either. Okay? Nothing but blessings, everybody. Until the next discussion, I believe I'm going to do a 1 hour looping stream. I think it's tomorrow. I'll be doing a 1 hour looping of a topic for an hour. I think the topic is for like 10 minutes, and I'm going to loop it like 5 or 6 times. So come by and listen to the topic for that 10 minutes or more. If you want to support some of my watch time, I would really appreciate it. There won't be any sip and chat this week because of the holiday. This week or next week will be no sip and chat, but I am going to come in from the My Heart to Yours and maybe some looping streams, something like that. So thank you guys so much for your support. This is Love Marlene 411, your channel for trauma healing, positivity, and nothing but peace and prosperity. I want that for every single one of you. Sending you love, peace, and joy, and all that you deserve. Why? Because you are loved, you are blessed, and you are God's child. Thank you guys so much. See you guys on the next one. Oh, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe and join my channel membership. It starts at 99 cents. Peace out, guys. Thank you all so much for your support.